Hey, and welcome back. How's it going today? It is September 27th, 2023. It's a Wednesday. Hump day. Oh, it is officially fall time, and it is setting completely here in this house. Between the cold nights and the slow-moving mornings, I hope we can get our asses in gear. As always, my bang. Today we're drinking the lemon drop. We're not sponsored by it, but would like to. Bang, bang. The lemon ones were my OG favorite for the longest time. But now, not so much. And then also in honor of the fact that it's getting cold outside, I busted out these. Oh yeah. I don't know if you guys remember these ginger cookies. They were freaking good. But I never noticed that the little caricature cookies, they're different. I always thought they were windmills. But I was wrong. Because that one was a tiger. Here's a little motherfucking swan. We got the swan. I was sitting there thinking, like, what the heck are we going to snack on today, guys? Because I'm going through some dental issues right now, so everything kind of crunched in my mouth is bothering me. At this point with everything, I'm, like, just ready for dentures. My teeth are not that bad. It's not been that much of an issue. I'm just really sensitive when it comes to my teeth. I have a phobia. A dentist and teeth phobia, and it's not fun. For years I was like, oh, just take really good care of your teeth and you don't gotta go to the dentist. That was also before I realized, age and all these things. Like, if I could really be like young me thought things would be, then I would be a motherfucking superhero right now, y'all. Because, like, I'll tell you what, I had this whole thing planned. Like, I was never going to get old. Nothing was going to deteriorate. That I was always going to just, be perfect. Well, I am perfect. I'm a perfect fucking mess. And it's great. However, having the internal knowledge to, like, start taking care of myself younger probably saved me a lot of turmoil. Because if I'm this bad after, like, half-ass taking care of myself a little bit, like, imagine if I didn't do anything, how bad this would be. Oh, it's too funny. I got a few friends around me. And mind you, I've always been the supplement queen, like fad diets, looking things up, nutrition. Like, I don't know if it was because I always felt so out of control, as a child, that I felt the need to have to control everything that was about me. And it's probably exactly what it is. I hit it right on the head. We got a Dubé with a filter filter that I rolled last night because I was like, fuck it, I just felt like rolling a couple of, like, already to haves. Got our snacks. We got, it's cold time when you bust out the Ember heated cup. The heated cup is in play with my paper stick stirrer. No, we are not back on coffee. This is my Mushies and my Ovaltine. Mushies and Ovaltine. If you want to know what my Mushies are, I will drop a link right now. And I will make sure you guys have a way to get what I'm talking about. It is an 8-blend mushroom powder. I'm not sure if anybody else has seen the pop-ups on the social medias about the mushroom coffees. I had been looking into the wonderful world of fungi and was trying to come up with a more stuff to add into my diet to make me healthy and happy and all the things, because I am what I call a striving vegan. I prefer vegan lifestyle. It is not always conducive for my lifestyle. So I have had to make a blend, which is fine, and it works for me. It doesn't have to work for you. I'm not a vegan who is anti animals, like the use and need of animals in a, unaliving them sense. And here's a little heads up, fair warning. I am a 90s kid. Little disclaimer, if you will. I am a 90s kid. And I promise to you guys and to myself, I will try to learn the new terminologies to be technically PC, okay? Because I don't want to openly disrespect or offend anybody, but I am a 90s kid. And I do say problematic things. And I want you to know that it comes from no source of hatred for any beings on this planet. It purely comes from a state of, I grew up on South Park and Ren and Stimpy and All in the Family. Archie Bunker happens to be one of my icons because of his personality, not his beliefs. You're going to get to learn the enigma that is Samantha, and you're going to discover that we're really friends and we're kindred. You're going to get it. But just so you know, it is not meant to be offensive, and my apologies if I am. So I'm not anti using the animals, eating the animals, whatever. Unalive is such a hard term for me to use because it is. Okay. So with that being said, my veganism stems from a health reasons. I had noticed that I was having issues with actually eating and processing and the digesting of the proteins, meats that I was, purchasing from around. And to be honest with you, when I started sourcing from local and free range type of, like, really doing the due diligence of sourcing where my meat's coming from and making sure that it has no fillers and additives and stuff like that, and seeing how the animals themselves were raised and fed and cared for themselves, because what goes into the animal eventually ultimately goes into you. And if that animal is fed with a bunch of things that you're technically allergic or don't work with you, it's going to get into its DNA, it's going to get into its meat, you're going to eat it, and it's going to make you sick. That I have learned. So you kind of really have to know where everything comes from the start. And it's a rabbit hole, and you will make yourself crazy. And I actually made myself crazy with it, so I had to slow the fuck down. And yeah. So with that being said, I really kind of had a step ahead with, even from the time when I was younger. And I think a lot of it when I was younger stemmed from wanting to be so different than everybody else, that I was like, oh, anything to make myself a little difficult for my parental units made me happy. I was one of those kind of kids who had defiance disorder, if you will. I personally would like to think that it was just me gearing up for what I need to know today, because honestly, a lot of the things that I was toying with and being told that I was crazy to be toying with now are being proven to be correct. So your girl wasn't that far off. It's been a wonderful week so far. Pretty slow pace, nothing too crazy. Pretty happy. I don't think I have any real news to report. Right now we have been setting up and gearing into stocking up our shelves with our lotion products. Healing Fae LLC has a pop-up shop in North Carolina coming up, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Our representative, the homegirl apothecary, she's going to be representing us big time over there. Much love to the Miss Becky with the good hair. So we're going to be gearing up for that. We have some new art coming your way. I'm not necessarily going to be selling it, but I will be sharing it. Me and the kids are working on, I'm calling it our family heirloom collection. So I was like, in this household with my kids, I've always been a really crafty kind of DIY mom. And being a young mother, a young married couple, me and my husband, of course, like, you know, money's tight and you have to get creative if you don't want to be unhappy, right? So I started with my eldest son. We always made our own Halloween decorations. Of course, construction paper goes, tissue paper stuff, and like that, you know, start off small when they're little. And eventually those start to deteriorate. And of course, when they're younger, they don't do the world's greatest job. So you cherish the handmade crafts, but I don't know about you, but me, if they look like shit, I don't want to put them out, okay? And even coming from my 3-year-old. Now, if I'm having it, it looks like shit, but I love it, sure, then I'm putting it out, okay? And that's usually what my kids' young artwork comes out. And I know I'm going to get some backlash for saying that some of my kids' art looks like shit, because it does. Because they're not trained. They're learning. And nothing we do the first time ever comes out fucking brilliant. So just saying that. Doesn't mean I don't love it. Doesn't mean I don't appreciate it. Doesn't mean I don't adore it and treasure it. I do. But now that all my children are now double digit or about to be double digited, it's time to start making the really good stuff. Like finding the ceramic ones, finding the good paper mache decorations, painting them, decorating them, putting them all together and sealing them really nice. I am officially ready to start that with them, and we have started. So Marley, my 10-year-old, and I've kind of toyed about talking about the kids on the podcast. I think I'm going to, just to kind of give everybody retrospects, because of the topics we're talking about are going to be family oriented, because I'm a mom. I'm a wife of almost 20 years. I'm a mom of over 17 years now. They're part of me and I am part of them. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. Just what it is. I've discussed with each one of my children. Well, not discussed. I have asked them if it's okay if I talk about them. In fact, 2 of the 3 one day would like to hope to be guests, and we can have family discussions on here, which I would love to do, especially with Marley. He's too grown, and you guys would love him. So, Marley, he is doing a horse, which he wanted to do like a normal horse, but I'm trying to tell him, no, these are decorations, Halloween time, spooky season's here. So we're going to turn it into a skeleton pumpkin horse. So what I'm kind of thinking with him with that is inspiring him to create like the Ichabod Crane horse, the headless horseman's horse. That's what I'm going with. Elijah is doing a T-Rex. My youngest son, he's 9. He is obsessed with dinosaurs right now. Everything is dinosaurs. Like, Marley and I are trying to come up with a theme for Halloween decoration, for our Halloween costumes. So we're going to do the Addams Family this year in our family. And since Elijah doesn't want to necessarily participate by being one of the characters, I'm going to dress up as Morticia, and he's going to be my pet T-Rex. So that's how we're going to do this. And if I don't dress up as Morticia, I want to dress up as Cousin It, because I have this brilliant idea with braiding hair and a baseball hat and like hot glue guns. If you know where I'm going, comment below and we can talk about it, because I could take any pointers, because I'm just pulling this one out of my butt. So we have started making our houses and painting our houses, and even I had to catch myself with going too fast and rushing things, because I have an issue with follow through, and I didn't really realize, well, I did realize how bad it was, but I didn't really notice how, excuse the stretch, my son, my middle son, Marley, he is the same way, watching him stress through and rush through his painting yesterday, only for me to have to tell him, like, listen, this is only the first layer. We are going to take our time with this. I'm trying to force them and teach them patience, and as well at the same time teaching myself patience. So, because if I could save Marley for having to learn the hard way how to control that impulsiveness, I want to teach him now so he doesn't have to learn like I did. And that's the whole point of me doing all this work that I'm doing on myself, is to be able to help them further in life. So we're making the Halloween decorations, and I'm super excited because these are going to be the first ones we start to save. And then that way, when they get married and they have kids and I go to pass down Halloween decorations, it's going to be the ones that they made. Simple as that. And it's a really good activity. Plus, they kind of got their video games taken away from them this week. So mom has to come up with something creative to do with them if we're not going to do video games. Because I'm kind of trying to do this new thing where, like, I was really bad with the kids as far as, like, I get overwhelmed and stressed, so I need, like, my me time. And I know a lot of moms don't take the me time, and they get burnt out. Well, I knew that, so I always made sure I took the me time. Well, to be honest with you, taking the me time, I did it in a very rude way. And I did it kind of all the time whenever something would stress me out. And, as a mom with kids, every 2 minutes something is stressing you out. So if you have to take, like, a breather and a break every time something catastrophic happens in your day, you're going to spend pretty much all day by yourself and not engaging or wanting to be around the kids. So you kind of have to, like, get over that. And I know that doesn't sound right and it doesn't sound nice, but you do. You kind of have to get over that, because I've been noticing a lot, like, they say when there's stuff you need to change about yourself, you will notice it in everybody else. Well, I'm noticing it in everybody else, and I can't take it. And I'm like, okay, fine. So this is what I've decided to do for myself. I have designated time for me. My designated me time, I only get my designated me time when I have controlled my behavior towards my children when I'm frustrated. If I am able to just step off for a second, like literally a second, and pull myself together and go back in and deal with them in a calm and loving and caring and patient manner, then I deserve my me time. If I snap off, I get no me time, because that's my fault. Because just like I have to teach my sons, you can't give in to the emotional outbursts that you feel coming in. I have to learn that too, and it's really hard. And I also have to learn how to not punish my kids for just being children. Punish them if it requires it, but don't punish them for being annoying. That's literally their job, and I've been bad at it. And, like, the one thing that I keep hearing, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so guilty of this, is looking at the kids dead in their face and going, I can't with you right now. You have to go. I cannot be around you right now. I can't deal with you. You're just too much. Stuff along those lines. Can't say that stuff no more. Because really what mom needed to say, and what mom was thinking of saying, was, my brain is running on a million things, and right now you're trying to talk to me and I can't hear you because I have a million other things in my mind. So can you give mommy like 2 seconds of silence so I can regroup my thought while we still work on what we're working on, instead of me dismissing them and pushing them out the room? Because how does that make me feel? That makes me feel pretty shitty. Like, if someone were to do that to me, even as an adult. If someone were to look at me as an adult and be like, no, I can't right fucking now. Get the fuck out of here. Go the fuck away. Dude, it would break my heart. I'd be so upset. And, like, I have to forgive myself and remember that I'm human and give myself the place to grow as well as others. And remember, like, okay, yeah, I've said that to them. I've done that to them. I've made them feel that way. I have to forgive myself. I didn't really realize what I was doing. Now I realize what I'm doing, and now I can stop. It's a different category when you realize what you're doing and you're like, Well, fuck it, I don't care. That's a problem right there. So that is one thing I am actively working on. And by making these Halloween decorations with the children, it's kind of like giving me the opportunity. It's like an exercise, if you will. You know, I am exercising that part of me and strengthening my ability, whereas at the same time, I'm teaching the children how to do it as well. And it's not teaching them through screaming, yelling, fighting, and arguing. So that's a really good thing. There's that little bit. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else this week that we've got going on that I could kind of use for housekeeping before I jump into reading my horoscope for today, so we can kind of see where today's going off at. And I can't really think of it. But before we do set up into this reading of our horoscopados, we're going to light this fucking doobie, because mama needs a smoke. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. We're gonna smoke the doobie. Do. I'm completely relaxed today, so you're gonna get full Samantha. I sing, I laugh, I carry on, I make jokes, I talk to myself. We're gonna do this together, guys. Ready? It's time for smoking a pancake. Blitz and a bong. Yes, I'm blowing that into your microphone. Because I want to learn how to perfect the recording of this sound, this sound. Because the James and I, we're going to be coming up and recording podcasts soon. We've been trying to find our niche, and I think we found something. And I really want, and then the smoke sound to be the open intro for her and I, because her and I are fucking smokerella, man. Said it, Barbarella, we are smokerella. With her, I think we're definitely doing something geared towards cannabis and food, because those are our fucking loves. Alrighty. Let's get into this. Today, waxing moon, September 27th. Moon is in Aquarius. Inspiration, innovative thinking, and a craving for experimentation will help you find answers to questions that seem unsolvable. See, so here we go again. This is exactly what I was talking about, even just with the Halloween decorations. Breaking a curse, an experiment on how I can teach the children to learn what I've learned now sooner. It's a brilliant thought. And same with my husband, because at the same time I am reparenting my husband. Ooh, and a real quick tidbit, other wives out here, okay? I did it. I slipped in a jab. Some of you might condone it as a below the belt. However, there was a thing where my mother-in-law had pointed out how one of the granddaughters was being picked up for a date, and the boy honked the horn, didn't come to the door. Chivalry, the coming to the door. My sons do that. They will do that forever and walk to the door as well. I'm raising real men. Anyway, so she's like, oh my goodness, he honked the horn for her to come out, didn't come to the door. And I looked her dead in her face. I said, you didn't teach your son how to do that. My grandmother did. My grandmother wouldn't let me. He would pull up and honk the horn or call me and tell me to come out. No, my grandmother made him come to the door, knock on the door, and ask, is Samantha home, and may I take her out? Yes, she did. That's how my husband learned it. So I did it. High fives. Boom. So creative experimentation for learning things. So that's what today is good for. So that's why we're talking about it. I'm going to pronounce this deity's name really horribly, and I will be working on my pronunciations. Akashatra Puva Barharada Hardara. Ruled by the gloomy two-faced god Ahyakapad. A Jaykapad. That's the word I'm trying to say. It's a good time to complete tasks and engage in risky activity. However, it's less favorable for everything else. Okay, so today is a very good day for putting myself out there in a way that makes me uncomfortable, but is also conducive to what I'm trying to do. Okay, I can get that. I can get that. Like, I honestly didn't feel like coming on here and recording. I was like, I'm not going to have anything to talk about today. It's going to be boring. And here we are actually enjoying ourselves. So go figure. Wednesday is Mercury. The day is favorable for intellectual activities, socializing, analyzing, and making plans. Important negotiations and presentations are destined for success. My colors today are green and blue. Oh, my Lanta, so you want to laugh? I'm going to show you guys. Hold on. I got my green, blue, new Temu shoes on. Yes, they came from Temu. I am a Temu shopper. And I have to say, these are a 10 out of 10 recommend. That's so funny. I think it's great when I inadvertently dress the occasion, because it's kind of like my validation. Like, I didn't have to look at my horoscope this morning. I got dressed and I was connected and I flowed. So that's pretty cool. And that was like telling me this. Moon day 14. Shukla Chaturdashi, Shukla Today is one of the most unfavorable days, so it's better to spend time meditating, doing yoga, or sports. Watch your health. You should not travel or start anything new. Not a problem. I won't be starting anything new today. I kind of had that idea. I had to order supplies for the lotions that we needed, so I had to actually make my orders today, which I did. Getting those here by Saturday, so I'll be able to start cranking on those. That's a wonderful thing. Kind of, that's how you, when you get like kind of like reaffirmations, like, okay, I've already been doing these things, and kind of had that mentality today. So when I have that mentality already, and then I go and I check something like this, like my horoscope, and it agrees with exactly what I was already thinking, I take that as a giant sign from universe telling me that yes, you're aligned, and I love that. My daily affirmations today is I am loved and I am at peace. Yes, that I can honestly say I'm honestly blessed today. Nope. These are pretty good horoscopes. This is the Moonly app. If you guys haven't tried them, you should try them. I absolutely enjoy checking my horoscopes with this every day. I'm trying to look for my insights for you guys so I could read you my insights, but those don't always pop up all the time. They don't always. I wish they did, but they don't. I don't know exactly which app it is that I have that is set to put those off for me, and I'm working on it. I'm trying to figure it out, because it kind of gives me daily little messages, and like a bunch of them, they're kind of like words of wisdom, if you will. Checking in with yourself is a very key point to starting your day. And like today, I wanted to check my horoscope with you, chit chat with you, do a little updating on the things going on in our world before we jump into our general topic for the day. And I'm been kind of toying with the idea, and I wasn't really sure about how I should go about, picking a topic for today. And I kind of was like, all right, I'm just going to let one come naturally. So that's kind of like where I'm at with it. And lately I've been talking a lot about the importance, and I've been trying to get a lot of people to open their eyes to the importance of self-discovery and getting to learn and appreciate oneself. And I willing to bet that that's exactly how we should kind of go about today's topic. Today's topic is absolutely going to be the importance of finding self. Why is it important to find ourselves? Why is it important to learn our messages? Why is it important for us to have a purpose? I mean, the obvious is like, if you don't have a purpose, you're not going to go anywhere. You're just going to like kind of float and you're not going to really enjoy and live life. I know it's obvious, but it is the most true. Until you find your purpose and what you were put here to do, you're not going to really feel fulfilled. That's kind of even like with moms, you know what I mean? Like they always tell us as women that our biggest fulfillment is having children and doing all of these things. It's not the biggest, because I don't believe that there's one thing ever that we can do as women or as humankind at all that will give us that feeling of wholeness. There's not one thing we can do to feel whole besides love every aspect of ourselves. So wouldn't the ability to feel whole by one single act be loving yourself? Like truly loving yourself without the need of outside validation. Let's sit with that one for a second and relight this joint as we get into this topic. It is very easy to say, oh, I love me. I'm happy with me. I'm happy with everything that's going on. Okay, cool. Here's how you can test if that's really conducive and true. If you are so happy with yourself and you are so in love with yourself, tell me 5 things about yourself that you would change. I'll wait, because if you want, you can go ahead and write this question down, and I recommend that you do because I've done it for myself. In your diary, your journal, your notebook, or even on a scrap piece of paper if you want to just have for shits and giggles, write on there 5 things I could change about me. And leave it like that and list 5. And see what those 5 were, and then spend time working on actually changing those 5. And then once you've changed those 5 and you do a self-assessment, ask yourself, why do I feel lighter? Or why don't I feel lighter? And you're going to be surprised at the answers. Because here's the thing. Loving ourselves and truly being one with ourselves. Most people don't have a clear definition of what that looks like. Some people may think that getting up, taking a shower, just getting your day started, making yourself beautified and all those things, and adorning your body is the way for self-love. That's how you show that like, how you see a woman all dolled up and dressed to the T. Oh, she's stuck up. She's conceited. She must love herself. You already know that 90% of the time, okay, we'll say 75% of the time to be a little bit fairer, 75% of the time, other women, that's what they think. I can remember a time where I used to, quote unquote, dress up. And through people asking me every time, why are you so dressed up? Why are you so dressed up? Why you got makeup on today? Why you this? Why you that? It made me stop doing it because it brought to my realization that women, especially women, they do that because they don't want to see others happy. So when they're not happy and they see somebody who is actively embarking on self-care, they take it as a direct insult to them. So therefore they will say and do those why you dressed up for things in hopes that you really were not that firm in your securities. So like they can bring you down, and in turn now they don't have to self-love, self-care, because now they've made you stop self-love, stop self-care. it goes like that. And I spent a long time almost kind of emanating what they would doing, kind of like, oh, and for them it was thinking that somebody was better than them. For me, I internalized their insecurities, turned them inward, and was like, oh, there's something wrong with doing that. It's wrong to want to look your best. It's wrong to want to be better. It's wrong to think you could be better than someone, when that is so far from the goddamn truth. There is nothing wrong with believing in yourself. There is nothing wrong with loving yourself. There is nothing wrong with adorning yourself. It is absolutely okay for you to spend as long as you need getting yourself ready to face the day, as long as it's coming from a place of self-love. Now, if you are having to look yourself in the mirror and going, oh, I hate what I see and I just have to cover this up, we're going to have to talk about that. And we will talk about that on another episode, because I understand and I am aware that there's a lot of us women out there who spent so much time putting on every insult shirt that somebody threw at us that we're going to have to take some time to kind of pull them off, because we were taught and told and shown how to wear the bullshit other people give to us and put on us and label us. We were taught how to wear that. We were not taught how to take it off. Some of us, thankfully, were taught how to never put it on, and you guys are the lucky ones, and hopefully you can spread the positivity and the knowledge that was put into you when you were a young one into your girlfriend, so that way she can too, and then they can pass it forward, because we have a whole tribe of us women that they weren't told that they weren't supposed to put the shirt on, and it's sad. Putting this shirt on. What do I mean by that? First of all, I'm going to start off with saying it is really hard to be a woman. It is really, really hard to be a woman. We can be very vengeful, nasty creatures. When we get hurt, we tend to be very emotional, and it tends to wound us on a level that is that's sadistic almost, because how we can treat even our... Hold on, bear with me one moment. I had to put my male pug's pants on. Now back into our program. So what I mean by, like, women can be nasty even to their own born. It's like, when we get hurt, it can either really destroy our character and really destroy our ability to love and be nurturing, and can actually do the opposite to us and make us very, very, very cruel. And sometimes the cruelness can be so cruel that it gets ingrained and imprinted on a family, on a DNA line, if you will. I truly believe that. When that's what it means to break generational curses. So, like, when there's a long line of women just hating women in your family and not building each other up, because we're supposed to be a community, we're supposed to look out for each other. Back in the old times, we would literally commune together and raise each other's children, and, like, it's not like that anymore. So women have been, not all women, but we have been trained to accept whatever is given to us, okay? So with that being said, it can be very dangerous if you always accept everything. Like, if I were to always tell you you're worthless, you're not good, you suck at that, or point out every time you fail and never point out when you do good, I call those shirts. Every little jab at you is a shirt. I'm handing you that shirt. You can take the shirt that I hand you or you cannot take it. You can put it on, you could throw it away, you could wield it back at me, but every bit of the words I use to degrade you, lower you, bring you down, I call those a shirt. Because it puts it in the retrospective. You have a choice whether to put it on, accept it, all of the above. But when you have been trained to always accept what is given to you and put it on and say, thank you so much, may I have another? You know what I mean? Or not even that. Some of us were taught to not even ask for it anymore. Accept what is given, ask no questions. I was one of those. And it's taken a lot of work on my part to realize that are one of those. So I have to make sure I am present in the moment with myself, so I don't, may I have another, you know. And I guess that I always I always assumed that I was the only one who felt that way. And I'm learning now that I have taught myself to not accept the shirt that is given to me from a shit individual, especially put it on. I've learned the lesson, so now I am starting to see those around me who have not seen and learned that lesson, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm meant to help in this situation, you know, through no other avenues except for I've been through it myself. So, with that said, you don't have to put every t-shirt on that's given to you. You don't have to put every label on that is handed to you. It doesn't matter who gives it to you, whether it be a husband, a mother, a father, a co-worker, just random people. You don't have to accept any version of yourself that anybody else has. You know who you are. And if they say something to you that strikes a chord, okay, maybe that strikes a chord with you and makes you feel a type of way because it might be something you have to work on. But by no means does it mean put it on and act that way for the rest of your life and ingrain it into your personality. No, that's not what you're supposed to do with it. You know, if it's something that's completely asinine and does not fit you at all, you don't even accept it. You would look at the individual and be like, you're self-reflecting, and obviously that's the way you feel about yourself, and I'm sorry you feel that way about yourself, my friend. I wish you the best of luck, and walk away. But if it's something that you're like, oh man, my husband told me that I was a neglectful wife. What a piece of shit. Now, he probably said it to you in some sort of anger. Something was going on. However, what is wrong? You don't have to put that shirt on, but what is wrong with taking that shirt? Okay, I'm a neglectful wife. And looking at that shirt and inspecting it and being like, okay, I see this wrinkle here. I see this stain there. I see this. Okay, maybe I could improve this shirt a little bit. Maybe I could clean that shirt. And so then you take that shirt and you go sit with it. And you think, you don't put it on, you sit with it and you think of ways to get the stains off. So my partner in an angrily, nastily way is telling me something. Okay, I could either A, chalk it up as that's his shit and let them go and have it. I'm not putting this on, I'm not even accepting this shit, fuck that. Chances are you're going to come into where that shirt's going to get thrown at you again. Okay? But especially because your partner's being negative, being nasty. It's not nice criticism or anything, okay? Instead of getting angry at your partner and attaching an emotion to his inability to communicate with you in a conducive way, don't make it about him, okay? Fuck him. Fuck what he said, okay? Fuck the way he said it. Fuck everything that there is about the argument. However, what the fuck does this motherfucker have that he could even say he feels I am neglectful towards him? And sit with it and examine it. Not with him in the room, not with anybody in the room, by yourself. Because we tend to get on the defensive when others are around us. So this exercise wouldn't help. But like on your own time by yourself, where in your own mind, sit there and think about what maybe you didn't realize you were doing in your relationship that warranted a flag being thrown on the play, a t-shirt getting thrown your way. And be like, oh shit, these last few weeks I've been really stressed out with money, work, and kids, and house and stuff, and like I've had a short temper because, man, let me think, have I even taken the time to like shower and eat right and take my vitamins? Have I made any time for myself to even like wash and moisturize my feet? Probably you haven't. So if you've neglected yourself, kind of safe to say you've probably neglected your husband too, or your spouse or your partner or whomever. So hand the t-shirt back with a mint on it and be like, okay, I see it. I get why you say I'm neglectful, but I'm going to tell you one thing. You're also being neglectful because you didn't see that I myself was running on empty. And next time, instead of insulting me, how about you grab me and be like, hey, we might need a timeout for personal builds up. We've been running all week. I'm feeling neglected by you. I haven't seen you all week. When I do talk to you, you're snappy, which is making me irritable. So let's do this. Men don't do stuff like that. Us as the women, like how they say, and I'm going to upset somebody, I'm a traditional wife. I have spent years fighting being a submissive wife, only to settle into my submissive wife role, and it's given me a better outcome. We'll discuss that further down the line too in other episodes. But us, and this goes for same-sex marriages too, okay? So instead of husband and wife, pick your roles, because in the relationship, there is one that is more emotional, one that is more logical. Yes, I'm saying it like that, okay? So in that retrospect, your logic brain partner is not going to come with an emotional response to your emotional needs, okay? They aren't going to even understand your emotional outburst. Logically, your emotional outburst is going to make them feel attacked in their logic brain. So, being that we, the emotional ones, are the neck, meaning we can turn things. We can turn our logic brain into doing some dumb shit by being emotionally fucking charged. Yes, we can, okay? So, connections. Us being the neck, we have to look at our partner and understand their shortcomings and understand, hell, I don't know how to communicate to them what I'm trying to say in a way they understand. So why do I expect for them to understand how to communicate to me in an emotional way when they don't even know how to regulate their own emotion? I have to help them with that. Don't get angry at your partner for throwing the t-shirt. Understand they threw the t-shirt because that was the only way for them to connect with you on an emotional level, because they lack the ability to connect with their own emotions. They come from a logic sense of the brain. So their actions are logical geared, whereas our actions are emotional geared. So when you have those two differences, the gears can work together or they can work like this. How do you want it to go? So being the emotional one, gotta learn to control it. So that way emotionally we don't throw the t-shirt on, turn into a shithole, totally ignore our spouses, and then we lose them forever. Or so we don't get the t-shirt and be like, this is what you think of me? Well, fuck you. You're a piece of shit. I don't think you're doing this, or I think you do this wrong and that wrong and this wrong and that wrong and this wrong and that wrong. That goes nowhere. You need to learn how to control the emotions, so that way you can take the shirt, go sit with the shirt, examine the shirt, clean the shirt, and hand it back to your logic brain person with, okay, I understand. So logically what I need for you to do, and that's when you go and explain to them how you feel or think, how you think that their actions could have been a little bit more upfront without being so vicious. Meaning, we got to get to a point where we can communicate before we get to the point where we're throwing t-shirts at each other. I hope that made sense, because it made sense to me. So if nobody's ever told you this yet in your life, you don't have to wear every t-shirt that is thrown at you. You should never emotionally get attached to the t-shirt that is thrown at you. And if you ever feel like the t-shirt could fit and you don't like it, that's something you have to work on yourself. That's kind of how you get people to stop throwing t-shirts at you. If you wanted to stop and you want to be seen, like really seen by everybody around you, you have to start moving in a way that is conducive with the person you want to be seen. Let me say it again. You have to learn how to move in ways that gets the person you want to be seen. So if you want to be loved a certain way, treated a certain way, respected a certain way, looked at a certain way, you have to grow yourself into the person that is looked at that way. So if you're not being looked at that way in the current state that you're in, you're not there yet, babe. That's what that means. And it doesn't mean that you're a failure. Failures are only people who don't try. So if you are constantly I don't need to change, I'm okay, but everything around you keeps going fucked up, right? Everything is chaos. Nothing is peace. And then chances are you have work to do on yourself, because our life is a reflection of what we are. So if we have a partner that is, and I am going to speak to you in a way that I do not intend for you to pick on. Okay, let me explain this a little bit better. So I'm going to express to you a scenario. By no means do I want and or need, nor is it good for any of us, for you to sit there and be like, well, what if this is? Well, what if that is? Well, what if this is? I'm going to speak in a general speak as if things were, as if we're all adults here, okay? If you find yourself arguing with me right now, I'm not for you. This podcast is not for you. You're going to get upset. You're going to be offended. All of the things, because you're just not mature enough to handle what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it. So I love you, and go somewhere else and do the growth, okay? Our life is a reflection of us. If we have a partner, a spouse that is constantly dogging us, I guarantee you spend 90% of your day thinking dog-ass fucking thoughts about yourself, your partner, and everybody else around you. Okay? If you find that you are having financial and money problems, I guarantee you those financial and money problems are coming because you have an unhealthy relationship with money and finances. Okay? So you're going to have to work on that. That means you're not mature enough to be responsible. That's okay, because that is something you can work on. If you find that your children are constantly arguing with you and they're constantly doing something that you find disapproving, that's not your children. That is you, whom are either A, thinking, doing, or both things that are genuinely not appropriate. Say that again. Even to your children. Your children's actions are a direct result of what you are doing in your life. Something in your life you are doing is showing them it is okay. to do what they are doing. Because children truly learn by example. If you find that you are not being respected in some sort of way in your day-to-day life, that is because somewhere in the underlyingness, you do not respect yourself. Whether that comes from a traumatic issue, a childhood trauma, or something else, some sort of trauma, it's going to stem down, you don't respect yourself. Because here's the thing about it. If you truly respected yourself, you could honestly never be disrespected by another individual human, because you would not invite and or allow the behavior. Your body would just naturally rebuke it. But since your body and your soul and your world does not rebuke the disrespect, there is something in there that you are not respecting about yourself. If you go and work and do the work to figure out what the fuck that is, and you correct that on a genuine self-corrected level, naturally your world will change to fit that mindset, that new set of boundary. And boundaries are not, I'm not gonna let nobody I'm not taking no shit from nobody. That is not a boundary. That is not a boundary. Okay, that is, I don't know what that is. A boundary is more or less realizing a behavior in yourself and saying, okay, we are not going to do that. And that is, and having to have boundaries with others is other people being able to put you in a state of mind that is not conducive to your own growth. That is when there's where you need to set a boundary, because the person is making it difficult for you to be you. Okay, it is not, I ain't taking up shit. It is not that negative. That is a negative thing. And being like that, chances are, if you have that type of like, I ain't taking their shit no more, fuck that, fuck them. By taking that stance, you are kind of ensuring that universe is taking that stance against you. Well, fuck them. Fuck them. We're going to fuck them. We're fucking them all. Okay? You don't want to do that to yourself, because then you're going to have a fuck them life. And that's chaos. And that's hard. And that's turmoil. And that's just like really stiff and dark and smoky. And that's not conducive to human life. So yeah, kind of like everything falls in line. Oops, shoot, I'm melting stuff over here. My Ember cup, I gotta shut it off. It all kind of falls in line with your mentality. You want to change your life, you have to change your mindset. And that's all that there is. You are literally causing your own bullshit. And I'm learning how to put those into words that are useful to people. I can only do for instances. Like, for instance, I've been married almost 20 years. I met my husband when I was 17. We got married 3 months after I turned, 3 months. I turned 18 in August. We were married in October. We were young, crazy kids, but we knew we wanted to get married. We knew we wanted to have a life that our parents never had together. We knew, because we both come from broken homes. We both knew, we didn't know how we were getting there, but we knew we wanted children and to never leave them and to never break up and to just be together forever. That was the one thing that we both kind of knew that we wanted. Once we said I do, it was forever, regardless. Like, I joke all the time, I'll kill him first. So I have been married for almost 20 years. And I can say that I've spent the first 10 years, 13 years, we'll say 13. 10 years were strong. Things started to slow and taper into the 13-year mark. And then here we are, we came to an understanding like 7 years ago him and I came to an understanding of, I think, I'm not gonna even bullshit you. It was probably closer to 4 years ago, just before the world shut down. So 2018, I kind of put my big girl pants on and I was like, enough is enough. We have to stop the games and the bullshit because I can't do this anymore. Because I spent probably a good 10 plus years putting on t-shirts that he would give me. Culturally, my husband and I are different. Religiously, we're different. In almost every sense of the word different, we are. And that, to me, was always our strength. However, my childhood was very traumatic. And because I got married as a child, pretty much, I'm not trying to call my husband a weirdo. But being married as a child, I was still very much in the mind frame, but I had already had this idea in my head, because I was a kid who used to like to lie and make up stories, okay? So for me to play make-believe, it wasn't very hard for me to do. So in my head, I had built up this scenario once I got pregnant with my son and got married, that I was going to be afraid, okay? Once I got pregnant with my son, I became terrified. Terrified of abandonment, terrified of all number of things, because I had had some serious abandonment issues growing up. My husband, being a young male himself, did not have the capacity to understand me, my emotions, my mental illness, all the things that were going on with my body, being a newly pregnant mom, newly married woman. Like, I was thrust into this life, okay? Not thrust because I wanted it. I thought I was ready. I was not ready, okay? I'm glad I did it. I'm glad it went out, and I would have done, if I were to go back, I would not change a thing. I'd still do it because I was ready. I was very much trained to be ready for motherhood, wifehood, and everything. I was trained to do the job, okay? Like the clock in, clock out job part of it, okay? The physical. I had no idea what it meant to be emotionally mature to handle it. I wasn't taught how to handle my emotions. I was not taught to manage them. I was basically taught that I was crazy, unlovable, and I was going to have to bully everybody, in whomever chose to love me. I was going to have to bully them into loving me because I was so unlovable and so difficult that it was impossible for me to have an easy marriage because I was told that. So subconsciously, I felt that way about myself. And subconsciously, I tried to self-sabotage and do whatever I could to push my marriage away. At the same time, being married to a male who was not equipped to handle that. So me pushing on him, he did what any young male would do, and he gave. And he pushed, and he went with my pushes, you know what I mean? Like, so not that we never split up or anything like that, but like emotionally, mentally, we were not together. We spent probably, like I said, 10 to 13 years living separate lives. Yes, we had the children and the house and all the things, but we had absolutely separate lives. And sadly, I wish I honestly thought my husband hated me. I honestly, I had all these scenarios and things, these horrible things in my head, that my husband doesn't like me, he doesn't want to be around me, that I'm not lovable, I'm unworthy, this, that, and the other. because I was taught that way, and it didn't click into my head that that was something that I probably potentially needed to heal from. So it was easier to just put the shirt on of unlovable, put the shirt on of he hates me, put the shirt on that I'm a bad mom. You know, it was easy for me to put those shirts on, and when I put those shirts on, I became that exact thing. So then, of course, yes, my partner ended up resenting me and hating me, and we grew further apart. And as he's growing further apart, and I'm like, well, why can't you just pick me up then? You know, if you see me falling. Bitch, you don't even know how to not put a shirt on. How do you want him to fucking pick you up? You done put all these shirts on. Now you need him to pick you up, when what you should have did is thrown the shirt back at him and said, hey, let's unpack why you think this right now. Let's unpack why I'm doing this. Let's unpack this. We didn't have the knowledge. We were young. So here I am building this whole case against him to be mad at him and do all of this shit and further disconnect from him because he's a piece of shit, when I'm expecting him to do things that I'm not even capable to do myself. And I wish I could have learned that in my 20s versus in my 30s. But hey, if there's anything I can do, my job is here to help the next generation of women. And that is exactly it. If somebody would have said, hey, Samantha, I get that your marriage is rocky. I get that you're going through a lot. I get that you feel totally, beat up at this point. How about instead of giving up on things we can't control and saying, oh, fuck it is what it is, file for divorce and call it a day. How about you stop making everything about your husband and your children, and you start making them about yourself, and start really examining why it's so easy for you to accept the fucking shit shirt you're being served. That's the real fucking puzzler, is why the hell are we accepting it? And I'm not saying, oh, fuck that man, leave that man. If you love that man, you're going to grow that man, and you guys are going to grow together, and you are going to be a team, and you are going to reparent each other and re-love each other. I'm going to say it like that. I love my husband enough to reparent him, and in turn reparent myself, and then in turn us to regrow together to develop a whole new relationship. Just because the last 17 years have been rocky and off the wall and made no sense doesn't mean that it has to continue that way. If after all the bullshit I've been through and everything like that, and I'm still willing to love him, and I still do love him, that's how I know I don't need to get a divorce. And that's how I know I am willing to learn to heal myself, forgive myself, and to give myself space to be human. Because once I learn how to do that for myself, then I can teach him how to do it, right? And by me teaching myself how to do that, teaching him to do that, my children, as a byproduct, they're going to learn that it's okay to be human, and we have space to grow. And when you are in a family and you guys really love each other, that you can truly, honestly be honest with yourself and know that nobody is going to punish you for it. Nobody's going to judge you for it. Nobody's going to throw it back in your face a few, years down the line. And you're safe to make that mistake, and it's okay. And guess what? Here's the thing. You make the mistake and you learn from it and you don't make that mistake. Nobody can bring that back up to you, because that person no longer exists. The person who didn't know not to do something now knows not to do it. So therefore, the person that was before is no longer in existence. It's evolved. So nobody can honestly use the things that you didn't know before if you learned them now. Do you know what I mean? It's very easy to say, yes, I was a piece of shit before I learned how to communicate and do better. Yes, I was. But I am not now, as we can clearly establish and see. However, but if you're one of those people like, oh, I'm a piece of shit, remember? I ain't got to learn how to fucking do that shit. I'm okay with this. It's a different topic and a different person and a different story. That makes you a real piece of shit. Oh. Stretch, my friends. No, you can't put the shirt on. You can't put the shirts on that they give you. You can only put the shirts on that you give you. And if you're giving you negative shirts, I need you to lie to yourself. I need you to, I think you're suffering from imposter syndrome. And I need for you to lie to yourself. And do it just for a little bit. You'll stop eventually. Yeah. Nope. That's all the things that I'm learning on my journey, and I'm literally actively doing them. I wouldn't say stuff to you and I wasn't actively living it myself. Yeah. If there's any advice I could save to anybody, whether you're in a relationship, not relationship, single relationship, whatever, you're worth the work, okay? You are so amazing and so powerful. You just haven't realized it yet. And you're not going to realize it until you actually go inside and learn how to literally re-parent yourself. Treat yourself like a ginger little baby, just like you did your own little baby, or your own little dog baby, or a cat baby, or whatever baby you might have in your life. You need to treat yourself genuinely like that and love yourself like that, because you're worth it. And when you really, truly love yourself the right way, in a conducive, healthy way, your partner, your children, everything else around you will also love you in that way. You haven't realized yet how powerful you are, but we are literally givers of life. We are givers of life. So go and give yourself the fucking life you deserve, that you have earned, that is your birthright. We're powerful and we're magnificent beings. And remember, when you know better, you do better. So go and learn something today. And be a better person than you were yesterday. Because you're worth it. And if nobody's told you yet today, let me be the first to tell you. I love you. And I wish you the best. And I want you to have the best day. So go off. Read a book. Build yourself up. I will.